It's really common for people who suffer some type of unpleasant life experience. Perhaps it involves another person, maybe somebody they were in a relationship with, or somebody from the family. Um, it's common for people who've had very traumatizing experiences to be somewhat worried or afraid to just kind of put themselves out there going forwards and to just live their life in the way that they really want to. And it's because once people have suffered a very negative experience, have been really disappointed, the kind of trauma that stays there and the unwillingness to want to repeat that can really hold people back and prevent them from pursuing the things that they want and from living the fulfilling life that they want. And what I just wanted to say on that is yes, anyone who lives a full life, things will happen that disappoint you. Things will happen that hurt you, sometimes physically, sometimes emotionally, psychologically, and other ways too. And it's not uncommon to have that kind of trauma that stays there, that fear of repeating that just that hurt that you just don't want to be repeated. My view on trauma and these types of experiences is yes, you did suffer a lot. The feelings that you felt about the incident or the experience, the person you were with, they're very real and they've had a significant impact on you as a person. And you should take away from that experience whatever there is to be taken away in terms of, the impact it has on you, how you change yourself and your ways going forward. Because I believe every negative experience that we can experience does have the potential to help us grow in certain ways because, you know, maybe we had a certain vulnerability about ourselves that made us more susceptible to whatever suffering we endured, or maybe we were too sensitive and we take things too seriously, so maybe we have to learn to lighten up. Maybe something happened which just kind of causes us to question, how we see life in general and our perspectives in life more broadly. Some of the big questions, sometimes the worst experiences in life cause us to ask the big questions to ourselves. And unless we're prompted to ask those big questions to ourselves, we don't go out and seek answers. But the bottom line is, these negative experiences, they impact us in certain ways where if we allow it, we can bounce off of it in such a way where we can either change certain things about ourselves or just ask ourselves, certain questions about life and what we want, etc., that maybe we hadn't asked up until the point of the incident. And then the moment you ask for something, even if you're just kind of contemplating yourself, little by little the answer comes. If you've noticed throughout your own life, you'll probably realize that every time you had a new idea or a new thought or a new question in your mind, over the course of days, weeks, months, years, the answers kind of fill in and you kind of gain understanding. So these negative things that impact you, in a way, they give you that opportunity to learn more about yourself, people, and what you want in life, and what you might want to do to pursue things that you want in life. So for me, it's just something important to point out is these negative experiences, and oftentimes negative experiences involve other people. Maybe we've had toxic people in our lives. They can be very eye-opening, and I guess the point there is if you can kind of understand and kind of accept that some of the most negative things in life are eye-opening to us, that they do give us the opportunity to bounce off of them and subsequently pursue new things, which later on allow us to have a more enriching life, then we don't feel so bad when these negative things happen because we realize that, there's a process involved. Sometimes you need things to be shaken up in your life for you to gain the necessary movement to move into the direction of the new things that you want. sometimes being stagnant in your life without having a sense of direction, but having a level of stability and peace, but with no movement, sometimes that gets old in the sense that if something comes and kind of shocks your life, but then propels you into a motion of growth, sometimes deep down that is what you want, even if you don't consciously realize it. Sometimes, I think we all want a bit of growth. So sometimes we might just want to condemn the negative experiences a bit less and just kind of take away from it the good things that can be taken away, which are the new ideas we have, the new vitality that we have, because when something bad happens, we oftentimes, give birth to new desires within ourselves, and that's a good thing. And if you have perspective, then you realize that, okay, usually when something bad happens, something good happens shortly after. Or if I allow that good thing to happen, it will happen. Obviously, you can't pinch yourself off from the good things. You have to kind of let it come into your experience. I mean, taking all that into account, obviously, if somebody's giving you a hard time, if there's a toxic person in your life making your life difficult, you should never just allow them to do that in the sense that, oh yeah, it's fine, that they should do what they want to do because I'm going to get growth out of it. No, you should never kind of accept negative behaviors. But what you should do is take away the positives that can come from that. And then if somebody else has their own issues and is a difficult person, then that's their problem. It's not your problem. Sometimes you need to coexist with somebody like that for a little while to learn more things about yourself, and then it's time for you to detach from that person, and then just to move on with your life. And if you can really accept some of these points that I'm talking about around how negative life experience can allow you to bounce off of those things into better places, and can kind of propel you and give you kind of movement into new and better things, then, and if you start looking back on your own life and realize how, in many cases, without certain negative experiences, maybe you never would have achieved good things later in life, then with that acceptance and the understanding that comes as a result of that, it can help you gain a new perspective on things, which is that a lot of times things that we consider to be bad aren't actually bad in the grander scheme of things. They're bad at the moment in time. They might be bad in the kind of phase of your life that you're experiencing. There might be a period of, some time that something bad's happening. But in the grander scheme of things, all that stuff is what helps you evolve. So perspective is important. And if you just kind of softly contemplate those things and think about those things, you might accept to yourself that, yes, some of the worst people in my life, some of the worst experiences were actually the most important things for me. And I'm actually quite grateful that they happened. So yeah, just keep perspective and think, have that kind of forward thinking mentality, and just don't be hard on yourself or on people when things don't always seem to be working out, because sometimes when things don't seem to be working out, actually they are working out. You just don't realize it yet.